This is KGW News at 11.
The bell of hope rang out at St. Paul's Chapel in New York City this morning, marking the moment the first of two planes hit the World Trade Center on 9/11. Hello and welcome to KGW News at 11. I'm Brittany Falkers. Today marks 21 years since the attack. St. Paul's Chapel is less than 100 yards from the World Trade Center site. This chapel is known as the Little Chapel That Stood. That's because it survived the collapse of the Twin Towers. In the aftermath of the attack, thousands of volunteers gathered there to help rescue and recovery workers at Ground Zero. In Pennsylvania, First Lady Jill Biden spoke at the Flight 93 National Memorial. 21 years ago today, 40 passengers and crew aboard United Flight 93 fought back against their hijackers, stopping an attack on the U.S. Capitol. In her remarks, the First Lady shared how the attacks touched everyone's lives.
If our fire engines can't reach where we're going to get there one way, shape, or form. If there's people that are hurting, we will respond no matter what the situation.
Here in Portland, a ceremony honored local firefighters who flew to New York to respond to the attack. As you can see, there were demonstrations along the waterfront. Water was shot from the air. Music from bagpipes rang out. There were also speeches at the Portland Fire Station 1 on Ash Street. Well, new tonight, students in the Ridgefield School District in Washington State will not be heading back to class tomorrow. The teachers union there has voted to strike. The district says it's been negotiating with the Ridgefield Education Association for several months now, but has not reached an agreement. Teachers say that they want more funding for mental health and special education students. The district was also closed on Friday. The district says that it will notify families of any changes to school schedules. We'll continue to keep you updated on air and online. There is still smoke and haze in the air from wildfires happening across Oregon. The Department of Environmental Quality says the air quality is at a moderate level in the Portland metro, which isn't great. Our Bryant Clerkley spoke with environmental officials. So, Bryant, when are things expected to improve here? It's just been so hazy.
It has, Brittany, and DEQ does not want to forecast too far ahead in the future, but they do say that things will improve. And keep in mind, the closer you are to the fires, the worse the air quality will be. For tomorrow, officials say it's safe for people to be outside in the Portland metro.
If you step outside, you can still see haze and smoke in the air from wildfires. Pedro Guimaraes spends every day outside playing music. He says he's noticed the air quality deteriorate over the past couple of days.
It's been real tough because I need to go back to my place to get water, and it really gets dry, I can feel here, it looks like it's tight, and it's awful. It's not good.
According to airnow.gov, the air quality in Portland is at a moderate level, which means people who might be sensitive to particle pollution should shorten their amount of time outside. But the Department of Environmental Quality says going into the work week, it's safe for people to be outside.
It's safe, and it's, again, fine to do outdoor activities. I'm guessing that there won't be a huge change by tomorrow morning, so walking to school is probably going to be not a problem.
Harry says there are some areas in Oregon with really bad air, especially near the Cedar Creek fire near Oak Ridge, which is in the unhealthy category. He says rain and a change in wind direction will improve the air quality.
We're going to probably stay in the moderate range. There may even be some improvements if the wind shifts as it could. But so much is dependent on the weather, and the weather can change and smoke conditions can change.
And as the air quality improves, Pedro says he's looking forward to playing his music again.
Yeah, I definitely expect that it gets better during the days because I was working for the past 3 weeks and it was perfect, sunny skies, good days, and now just hoping that it goes away as soon as possible.
And DEQ says people should check the air quality when they wake up tomorrow. There should be another air quality advisory coming out tomorrow, and I'll post a link on our website, kgw.com, where people can check.
Really important to stay in the know. All right, thanks so much, Bryant. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri joining me now. And yeah, this is really important, checking the air quality out there. It has been so much, but we do have some relief on the way, maybe even some rainfall in that forecast.
Some light showers are out there right now. And again, we're still looking at basically 66 days in a row with no measurable amount of rain. Today actually marked 67, even though if you walk out there or look at a radar, we are looking at some light showers, but a lot of this stuff's not really reaching the surface just yet. But I want to talk more about the air quality, like Bryant was just saying. Things will start to ease up here the next couple of days, at least throughout the western side of the state. They'll start to ease up and really lighten up in terms of the smoke by tomorrow late morning and into the afternoon. Where it's still going to be pretty bad is throughout the eastern side of the state. You can kind of see even by Tuesday afternoon, Bend, Redmond, and along I-84 along the Oregon-Idaho border, of course, over in eastern Washington. We're still going to continue to see some very thick smoke from those wildfires that are burning throughout much of the Pacific Northwest. But as we look at the air quality right now, again, we're in the moderate category. There's still a few oranges here and there, but the more east you go, you can definitely see the air quality really take a hit. But once we get some light precipitation, things will possibly clear things out a little bit, but not by much. This is that weak disturbance I was telling you about. In fact, at one point earlier this afternoon, we saw some lightning strikes. It was just one, but it made a big impression. A lot of people were talking about it on social media. Right now, we are looking at some light showers. Here we are a little after 11 o'clock. We'll zoom out a little bit. As you can see, a lot of those showers are moving in along the foothills of the mountains and throughout the Oregon Cascades. Rainfall amounts are going to be really adding up to a whole lot. So we could still look at our streak of 66, 67 days in a row with no measurable amount of rain intact. But a few locations could be seeing some light precipitation, especially in the Oregon Cascades. And then heading into tomorrow afternoon, Brittany, we are going to be seeing some sunny and dry conditions. And coming up in my detailed forecast, I have a 70 forecast you're really going to be liking. Not only is it going to be cool, but it's going to be the coolest 70 forecast we've seen so far this summer.
Wow, expect a change. Thanks so much, Joe. Tonight, power is back on in the Northwest Hills. Portland General Electric and Pacific Power cut the power in certain neighborhoods on Friday due to the threat of high winds and extreme wildfire conditions. But that shutoff lasted longer than expected. Blair Best takes a look at what families went through before the lights turned back on.
Going on 48 hours with no electricity.
We're all reading. It's very prehistoric over here.
On Thursday, an emergency notice was sent to families in the Northwest Hills saying power would be shut off for 12 hours as a safety precaution due to extreme wildfire conditions and high winds. It's Sunday morning and still dark, putting people like Zara Hanan, who works from home, in a tough spot.
PGE won't give us a solid answer because at first they said it's undetermined, and then they said it'll come on at 6 a.m. And then they said 10 a.m. It's now 10 a.m. and it's still not on.
Hanan has called Portland General Electric multiple times.
They were like, you are the 370th person who has called today. And it was like, okay.
Hanan says her family wasn't prepared for the outage to last this long.
We had flashlights and lanterns for after the sun went down, but they all ran out of power after 48 hours.
All the food in their fridge has now gone bad.
We're gonna have to throw like half of it away now because it's melted.
I went and bought some ice and put it in the fridge and the freezer, and we have 2 fridges and 2 freezers, and I don't think that did any good at all.
Elizabeth Daly lives a few doors down. She's worried what will happen if they don't quickly get the power back.
We're on a septic, and it has a pump, and we've been told the septic can go for about 3 days as long as you're not doing, heavy equipment, which of course we aren't because you have no electricity, but we are getting a little nervous.
It also just seems unfair because they said it would be to prevent the fires from coming in, but the closest fire is like 80 miles away.
We reached out to Portland General Electric early this morning to try and figure out what's been going on. And those at PGE tell us that the homes in this part of the Northwest Hills are one of 10 public safety power shutoff areas. And the power will only be turned back on if conditions are safe.
I think that the electric company could give us a better explanation as to why.
Neighbors say the outages don't make sense, given not everyone in the area is without power.
our neighborhood in this little bubble is without power, but everyone around us is with power.
PGE opened 5 community resource centers where people affected by the outages can get supplies, access Wi-Fi, and charge their phones. They will continue to update people on the status of the outages on their website and social media.
It just sucks because when the power does eventually come back on, there's not going to be any accountability.
In Northwest Portland, Blair Best, KGW News.
Several evacuation orders have been lifted tonight, including those caused by the MacIver fire in Estacada. That fire burned about 25 acres. And level 3 evacuations in Salem have been lifted after the Vita Springs fire, though level 2 warnings are still active there. When it comes to Oregon's largest fires, people are still away from their homes tonight. People in Lane County near the Cedar Creek fire haven't been home for 3 nights already. Volunteers and staff at Green Hill Humane Society are working around the clock to feed, care for, and house the animals brought in by evacuees.
The comfort that we see in the people that come to us, knowing that their animals are well cared for us, it's a very heartwarming job.
The Humane Society is working with the Red Cross, which has taken in over 100 people and is providing food, medicine, and other needs to those evacuees. We do have an update for you tonight on the arson investigation at a Portland park. 3 suspects have been arrested for allegedly setting more than a dozen fires around Mount Tabor Park and the surrounding area. Officials say that these small fires could cause big problems because they can build if people don't notice them quickly enough. Portland Fire and Rescue made the arrest on Saturday night. The 3 face multiple counts of 1st and 2nd degree arson.